guys ever miss a call, you guys ever get on a call late, you feel like I'm just talking too fast and you don't have the ability to take notes, just be aware. Whenever you get off this call the next day, it will be on my YouTube channel, okay? So today is going to be the last day of the week. I don't know if you guys know, but it is NFP week. If you don't know what NFP week means, it means that one or two things are going to happen. Something crazy can happen, or maybe nothing at all is going to happen. But regardless, you just need to know the first Friday of every single month is going to be NFP, which is non-farmers payroll. And sometimes it could be some crazy news events that can spike the market in, different directions. Okay. So it's just something that you might want to be aware of. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into the market. I do currently have one trade idea currently out, but outside of that, it's pretty dead. I'll be honest with you. We did potentially have another trade idea, but I'm just gonna leave it alone because it was I am working on being as disciplined as possible in 2022. So one of my rules was broken for the setup that I wanted to take. I'm be honest with you, I was waiting for this bitch for a long time, and I'm low key tight, right? Which is an NZD CAD. As y'all can see, I got this thing all the way marked up. I did not take it. I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to call out. I'm going to have to wait to see if I see something else, because one of the rules I'm not going to go into, because it's neither here nor there, is broken. And one of the things that I am not going to do anymore, if any one of my rules gets broken, I just got to pass the whole trade up altogether, regardless of how I feel, just because I have ignored my rules too much in 2021 and it bit me in the ass the majority of the time. So now I just got to allow myself to be like, you know what? Even if breaking one of my rules means I can miss out on a trade, I'm not going to break the rule. I'm going to just let the trade do whatever it's going to do, and I'm just going to be okay with it, because we're going to be disciplined in 2022. So with that being said, the first thing I want to be able to go over, I forget, honestly, what the hell we spoke on yesterday. I'm pretty sure we spoke on USD Chef. I know we talked about NZD Chef. So I'm going to just go back and reiterate those. I'm about to scan the market real quick, even though I don't feel as though there's anything different that's happened since the last time I just scanned this. Just gonna work my way through this real quick. So y'all just give me a second to kind of work up in here, see if there's anything that I might like. Pretty sure it's probably not, like I said, not gonna be anything too different. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna be a little tight about that NZD cap. Well, I wanted that joint, but just let it go. Plus it's Friday, so it's a lot of stuff that can happen. I do still like that GBP JPY, so obviously we're gonna talk about that. Today's probably not gonna be the longest call, because like I said, I honestly only have one setup to go over. And it's really no need for me to go over NZD Chef or USD Chef, just because I went over those yesterday. So we really only got one setup, if I'm gonna just be honest with you. And it is Friday, so Friday is honestly not going to usually yield a lot of opportunities, just because it's the end of the week. So you're either holding on to something from earlier in the week, or you might be looking for a short-term intraday trade. But usually Fridays don't always yield me a whole lot of opportunities for what I'd be looking for. But man, I'm gonna be sick if this thing ends up taking off, man. I had this thing marked up beautifully, but I'm not gonna dwell on that, because it's gonna make me do something I don't need to be doing. So I'm not even gonna look at that. So we're gonna focus on GBP JPY. But for any of you guys that don't know, we did have 2 successful trades yesterday. Oh, what I can talk about is the trade. We actually had a trade that hit stop loss, right? So NZD USD actually ended up hitting stop loss whenever we were on the call. It was close, but it did not actually violate, so it actually hit. So one of the things I want to talk to you guys about real quick, which actually I can talk about, is the concept of correlation pairs. So I touched on this a little bit yesterday, but I want to touch back up on it again, because I'm pretty sure this can help somebody moving forward. So I'm pretty sure that you guys, at some point in time, depending on how long you've been, available in the market, you started to notice whenever you're looking at certain correlation pairs, a lot of times 2 or 3 of the pairs may all be looking similar, if not looking exactly the same. So what I want to be able to show you guys is a concept of that, and maybe something that can help you guys avoid losing money in the future, right? So keep in mind, we did lose NZD Chef, but we won 2 trades. So anybody that took all the trades, you definitely should not be negative. But that's one of the importance of definitely why you got to make sure you take all the trades. Okay, if you only take one of them, and I sent out 4, and the one that you took was the only loss, hey man, I can't do nothing for you, my brother. Okay. So good risk to reward is always going to keep us in profit. So with that being said, NZD Chef was a trade I did that we lost right here. But what I want you guys to focus on is notice these two setups look similar. Some of you guys might notice, but these are two completely different ideas. This is NZD USD 4 hour. This is AUD USD 4 hour, right? Notice how there's an engulfing candle here. There's also an engulfing candle basically in the same spot. Notice how this market went up, got a little choppy, dropped aggressively. This market went up, got a little choppy, dropped aggressively. Now, the main difference is NZD USD ended up coming back to that engulfing candle first. This is still technically kind of playing around. It hasn't really revisited this candle. So one of the things I want to be able to help you guys understand is one of two things is usually going to happen whenever you're dealing with correlation pairs that look the same, if not similar. If one of them goes in your favor, they're both probably going to go in your favor. If one of them goes against you, they're both probably going to go against you. Now, obviously, it can be a situation to where one doesn't go in your favor and the other one might go in your favor. So what I just said is not a guarantee, but usually what I just said is going to happen. So if one of them does it, they're probably both going to do it. So why I'm saying that is if these look similar and my stop loss got hit on NZD USD, that could mean that whenever this market actually gets to this candle, it might violate it the same way. So versus taking a loss on this and this, I'm just going to pass this up altogether because I've already seen NZD USD get violated. Now, keep in mind, like I said, say for instance, we come back next week, we see the market came into this candle and it ends up going in our favor. The way that I've set my brain up and my discipline, I'm not going to feel any kind of way about that. I don't have FOMO. I'm not going to be like, oh man, I should have taken it. No. What I'm telling y'all right now is what I'm going to stand on, and I'm not going to have any attachment to what the market ends up doing, even if it does end up going up, because I don't want to take the risk of losing again on something that just showed me it might not be a good idea. Okay. Let me get you guys to drop a number 2 in the chat if what I just said made sense. Right? Drop the number 2 in the chat if what I just said made sense. So once again, if you have correlation pairs, right, that look similar, if not the same, if you take a trade on one of them and it does not go in your favor, the other one is very likely to do the same thing. It is not a guarantee, but it is a very strong possibility. So versus taking a loss on both of these, take it on the chin for one of them and just pass up the other one altogether. That's just what I personally recommend, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. Like I said, I'm going to revisit this next week and we'll see how this ends up playing out. And if it ends up hitting this candle and going up, I'm going to be like, well, shit, I still wouldn't have taken it because these are one of my rules that I've implemented. And like I said, in 2022, I created rules to stick to them. I did not create rules to break them. And I'm going to repeat that one more time because a lot of people that do that in trading, you create rules just to break them. You want to make an exception for anything. You're like, okay, I made this rule, but I'm going to make this exception for this trade. That literally defeats the whole purpose of creating the rule if you can just pick and choose whenever you want to ignore the rule. You feel what I'm saying? So I used to do that a lot in 2021. I'm not doing that no more, just because I've been trading long enough to where I know I'm going to get my setups that I'm supposed to get. So I don't want to force anything that I have the slight that I have a little lack of confidence. Like any trade I take, I have 100% confidence. Anything that I feel like there's 1% that I feel like I probably shouldn't do it, I'm just not going to do it. Literally any type of hint of, I don't know, Tyree, I'm going to just be like, all right, I just ain't going to do it, right? I'm just not going to do it. Every trade that y'all see I take, this NZD USD trade, I was confident as hell. It just didn't go in my favor. It's a part of the game. You're not finna win everything that you think is finna go in your favor. That's not how this works, right? It's just like if you're playing basketball, just because you think it's a good shot when it left your hand, it might be a damn air ball. But it felt good when it left your hand. It's just an air ball. It's just a part of the game, right? So that's NZD USD. So I just wanted to update y'all. I did update that in chat. Because like I said, I'm not one of these dudes that I don't hide away from L's just because I know I'm not going to lose more than I win. I've already proven that in this chat. So NZD USD, we hit stop loss. These are the current results. I actually need to update this, but these were the current results from yesterday. So we have 2 losses, 2 wins. But if you guys know anything about risk to reward, these 2 wins made up for both of these losses and then some. So that's why I am not phased when I lose, because literally one trade usually it's going to win me 2 losses minimum. Usually one good trade for me is going to make back 2 losses minimum, usually, okay? So with that being said, NZD/USD ended up hitting stop loss, which I updated right here, right? SL hit negative 16 pips, full transparency, but we had 55 pips on USD Chef, 40 pips on NZD Chef, right? So basically all we're going to be touching basis on, to be real with you, is just going to be that GBP JPY. USD Chef is still currently floating in profit and it is still going. I don't know if any of you guys got the ability to take that, but I clearly did. So I'm still floating in profit. I've already taken partials a couple times. So this was the first take profit. This is technically the second take profit, but I did say in the chat, because I saw that it hit this negative 27%, which is an extreme level of significance. I was like, hey guys, go ahead and take a second round of partials, which I would have said, where? Right here. Trade is currently up 80 pips. Feel free to secure some more partials, right? So I'm letting you guys know when to take money off the table, so you're not just holding a trade to let it pull all the way back and you didn't make nothing, okay? So always make sure you guys are paying attention to the chat. So this was a great trade, as well as NZD Chef. NZD Chef actually ended up taking us out at break even, because I did also give you guys the update, right? And like I said, if y'all pay attention to the chat, I'm gonna tell y'all everything that I'm doing. Adjust right here, NZD Chef, adjust your stop loss to 0.6280, securing 18 pips. What does that mean? That means that if you adjusted your stop loss, right, to 62180, it was about 17 pips. I said 18, but you guys get the gist. That means your new break even would have been 18 pips of profit. So whenever your break even would have been hit, you still technically made money, because it was a break even that was in profit. So I'm literally making sure you guys get paid every chance that I get, but you guys got to stay up to date with the chat, okay? So with that being said, those are the 3 trades that were called out, yesterday. Now we're just focusing on the 1 trade I called out today. Oh my God, it's gonna be so hard to just watch this go in my direction, bro. I'll be honest with y'all. I have to ignore this because of one of my rules, but I know this bitch is finna go. And I've been waiting on this bitch forever, bro. I literally been waiting on this trade, bro. This happened in December. This market just now came back today, bro. It's not like I'm literally waiting technically. It's just I've had it marked up, bro. This has been a whole month. I've been waiting for this bitch to retrace. Just for it to break one of my fucking rules, bro. That shit got me so tight. But like I said, I gotta be disciplined. So it is what it is. Anyways, I just need to stop talking about it because I'm gonna just get mad. Anyway, so GBP JPY. Let's go over GBP JPY, because like I said, basically after I break down GBP JPY, we gonna call it a night, just because like I said, there's honestly nothing else in the market for me to be able to take advantage of. I'm still currently in USD Chef. So I'm honestly satisfied. So I'm not gonna be greedy or feel any type of way, because I am still currently holding a profitable trade that's still moving in my favor. All right, cool. So I got the one that's marked up, and then I got this one. Hopefully this one doesn't leave without me either, but if it does, it is what it is. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about GBP JPY. All right, cool. So the same thing that I always usually tell you guys, the first thing I like to be able to do is I like to start off on a 1 hour time frame, and then from the 1 hour time frame, I want to be able to identify what is the overall trend of the market. So if you guys notice up here, right, the market created this high, the market ended up extending, right? And this could be a possible retracement, right? This could be a possible retracement in order to continue dropping lower, which is basically what I'm looking for, okay? So within the grand scheme of things, one thing that we could actually start off by doing is we can actually take a fib, because look, this is the thing I want y'all to know. So look, we had a break of structure. I like talking about breaks of structure. What is that? Whenever the market either breaks above a high or a low, basically insinuating that that can be where the current trend is about to go. So yeah, the market, went extremely high up after it did that. But if it does not violate this high, this is still considered a downtrend because of this structure breakdown here. Okay. So with me understanding that, I can actually take my fib tool from the high to the low, and you guys know my zone is going to be what? In between the 61.8 and the 88.6 right here. Okay. So that's going to be my fib zone. Now, the market has already came into the fib zone, and you can see it gave this initial reaction up in here. Now, I'm going to tell you guys what I'm starting to see, or what I was seeing. What I'm saying is a head and shoulders pattern. I'm going to be honest with you. This is what I was saying. This is the left shoulder. This is the head. I was looking for this to pull back somewhere in this area to give me my right shoulder, right? So you got boom, 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 right? And then this is what I would like to see, basically, okay? That is a head and shoulders pattern. Personally, my favorite formation in the entire market of Forex, a head and shoulders pattern. I destroy these. Shout out to Oren Wright from Levels. That's how I learned this from, okay? So this is what I would like to see. Whether or not the market is actually going to pull back further to give me my entry has yet to be discovered, okay? But that's what I would like to see. So before I even dive into all that, like I said, so we've already confirmed overall this is a downtrend and the market is retraced back into the Fibonacci area. Now, you guys know the next thing I'm about to do is I'm about to look at my indicators. So you guys know me, right? You know I love seeing whenever the white line goes outside of the purple box, because that means that the momentum in that direction is getting weak, which would be this area, okay? Notice how both of these areas are in the same spot. But what did the market keep doing? The market actually went higher and broke above this area. So the thing that I always tell people is you got to be careful. You do not just want to randomly get in for a sell just because you see it come outside the purple box. You got to be patient and wait for the market to give you signs, okay? Where do we start getting the signs that the market might start going into a downtrend? We had another break of structure, okay? Now, I don't know if you guys know what a liquidity sweep is, but one thing I want to teach you guys is anytime you see the market go above a high or below a low and immediately go in the opposite direction, that usually is referred to as a liquidity sweep. What does that mean? It means that the market saw that a certain amount of people had stop losses up here. They wanted to go take their money, and then they immediately went in the opposite direction. So we had a liquidity sweep followed by a very strong impulsive move that gave us a break of structure. On top of that, we already verified that the extremes have been hit, which we're already knowing is giving us the indication that the momentum to the upside, which has been going up for a minute, is starting to weaken. And this is the verification that this might now be a confirmed downtrend with that official break of structure. So the other thing that I don't know if you guys notice is we have a little bit of divergence, right? So from here to here, hold on, DeLorean just called out something. Let's see. See if we got anything. I am hungry as hell. So we got NZD, JPY. Come on, bro. Let me just pull this up on the chart. So NZD, JPY. Come on, computer. All right, cool. That's ugly. And let me actually go check that. Also, Euro USD. Give me a second. 30-minute. Nah, that's too close. All right. So we're going to disregard that and go back to what we was talking about. Okay, GBP, JPY. All right, bet. So let's go back to the divergence I was just previously speaking of. So we got the divergence, right? From here to here, the market is going up. From here to here, the market is going down. Let me give y'all the horizontal line so you guys can see it how I see it. So bam, right? Notice these are in the same spot. Bam, right? Notice that these are in the same spot. So what is divergence? Whenever the chart is going in one direction, the indicator is going in the opposite. So as you clearly see, this is going up, right? we can clearly see that this is going down. That is exactly what I like to see. So, for some of my regulars that I know usually get on my calls and stuff like that, these are going to be one of the top things I personally like to be able to look for whenever I'm looking for a trade. Okay. So now that I've identified that on top of the structure break, on top of the liquidity sweep, honestly, the only thing I needed to do is look for an entry. So, as you guys know, or maybe you don't know if you're new, the way I like to look for an entry is I like to be able to find an engulfing candle. Okay. So I ended up finding this 12-hour engulfing candle, right? Now, from that, I like to be able to, this setup is a little bit different. So I like to be able to use my Fibonacci retracement tool to be able to find the entry. Now, specifically on this setup, I kind of had to finagle it a little bit because one of my rules also too is I have a maximum stop loss. So if you're on this call and you don't have a maximum stop loss, I would recommend that you start figuring out how big of a stop loss is too big. What do I mean by that? I can never take a trade based off of my rules if the stop loss is bigger than 40 pips. 40 pips is my max. For you, it might be 20 pips. It might be 30. It might be 100. But I would recommend don't just take trades to where you don't know, okay, this stop loss is bigger than what I feel comfortable with. You need to have some type of limit to where it's like, okay, I don't want to ever have a stop loss bigger than 20 pips. If that's what you're doing, stand on that. And you need to be passing up the stuff that has a bigger stop loss because you're now breaking your own rule. So for me, I'm gonna just have to go back to the real chart now. What I had to do was I had to find an entry that gave me that 40 pip stop loss. Because initially I wanted to look for an entry a little bit lower, but my stop loss would have been too big. So honestly, this is an example of a setup to where this is not actually where I would like my entry to be. If I'm gonna be honest, I would like my entry to be lower. But because my stop loss would be bigger than my maximum, I have no choice but to move my entry higher than what I wanted to. So because of that, there is a chance to where the market might not actually activate this trade because this entry is a deeper retracement than what I would actually like, but I have to do it based off of my rules. So it gives me the ability to still be a part of the trade, but I could possibly miss out because this is a little bit more of a forced entry because I have to make it fit my personal stop loss parameters. Okay. So the other thing I always recommend is never get too fixated on what you're seeing, right? Just because it looks like this market is about to fall, it might, but the market plays around a lot. This can easily do a little bit of this and then spike up and hit us in the entry. So we don't know. So I never, randomly just jump in by market execution because I'm like, oh, it's leaving without me. It's either going to activate my entry or it's going to leave without me. There is no in between for me. I'm never going to be like, oh, it's leaving without me. I'm going to just go ahead and get in. That's not how I trade. I've back tested a lot, so I have my entries in very specific spots based off of experience. Okay. If the trade leaves without me, that's basically just what happens. So essentially, what I would like to see is I would like to see the market, work up. We do have this 78% Fibonacci zone that you guys can see. And I would like to see it give us our rejection and fall out the sky. Because one thing I know about the head and shoulders pattern, okay, I can even get a little more technical with it. Look, watch this. Uh, right. This is basically what I want to see. I want to see that head and shoulders pattern. So now that I drew it out, you guys can see it a little clearer, hopefully. So this is exactly what I would like to see. All right. Whether or not I'm going to get it, as I've already said, has yet to be seen. Okay. Maybe this market does stop right here and then just fall out the sky. I'm just going to miss the whole setup. And I'm okay with that just because I've done enough back testing to where I'm emotionally comfortable with anything that comes with the market because I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm capable of. And I know that I'm not going to get every trade, and that is okay. But I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to leave this here. I already called it out in my chat, which is going to be right here. So if anybody on the call did not get a chance to take this trade, make sure y'all go to my Telegram. Obviously, you still have the ability to put it in. If I do have to end up saying, hey, delete it, obviously I will come back and simply say that, because I actually called this trade out earlier today. And at 10:03 a.m., I said delete it because it didn't activate. So I may have to come back later and say the same thing again. But basically, this setup is going to stay here until because usually the way that I look at it personally, once the London session ends, anything that has not activated, I'm gonna delete it and I'm gonna see if it's still available later in the day. So I'm not one of them dudes where I just hold it all day. No, I hold it while it's in session. Once the session is over, I'm gonna exit the trade, and I just have to wait to see once it gets back in session if it's still something I can re-enter. And that's what happened here, right? When I initially called it out, I think it was somewhere in here. Whenever 10 a.m. came, it was somewhere in this area. I was like, okay, it's clearly not going to activate. The market session is about to be over, so I'm going to delete the trade. Whenever the session came back, I was like, okay, put the trade back in. And now we just basically wait. So we basically have essentially like 9 hours, 9 to 10 hours to see if this is going to activate. If it does not activate by basically 10 to 11 a.m. Central, which would be 11 to 12 p.m. Eastern, then I'm just going to give y'all the update to delete this trade. So with that being said, like I said, this is basically literally the only thing I got, to be honest with you guys. It's definitely not the most exciting thing, but we've had a pretty solid week. I'm gonna be honest with you. NZD Chef and USD Chef, carried us this week. We had two small losses that were covered up by the two big wins. So, small losses, big wins. And that's one of those things I want to be able to preach. That's one of those things I want to be able to take advantage of. And one of the things I want y'all to be able to also utilize yourself. Man, the more I look at this, the more I'm gonna get mad. But this is gonna be a part of my discipline. I think I need to see this go in my favor just so I can be okay with it, because I gotta start being okay with sticking to my rules no matter what that means. And this is a prime example. Boy, when I tell you I waited a whole month for this shit just for it to, oh my God, but whatever. So that's pretty much it, y'all. So I appreciate y'all for staying on the call. Like I said, we have technically already been on here for like 30 to 40 minutes anyway. I really don't have too much more for y'all. So with that being said, I'm gonna see y'all again next week. I will keep y'all up to date in the chat on whatever happens. And as usual, this will be dropped on my YouTube channel. So y'all have a blessed day, have a blessed weekend, and please make sure y'all trade safely. It is NFP. So if y'all do not know what NFP is, just be aware. If you randomly see a big ass candle come out of nowhere, you're like, what the hell? That's because it is NFP, okay? So be careful, trade safely. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Y'all have a blessed weekend. I'm going to see y'all next week. Deuces.